I'm Lebanese, born and raised in Lebanon.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a house where there is always good food around.
I mean, of course.
My mom used to be a private chef at a time
Okay.
for like 15 years. And I was a chubby kid
Okay.
who loved to eat good food
Yeah.
and very bad at school too. So,
Oh my goodness.
so it's a great combo. I was so interested to learn like the French cuisine and
Yeah.
French cooking and like learn from the best chefs. After that, I got the opportunity to be here. The whole family got the green card and
Yeah.
we moved here.
Amazing.
And then the journey started.
So today we're sitting in Ladyhawk restaurant at the Lapeer Hotel, and we had a conversation with Chef Charbel Hayek.
It was great. I mean, I have to say, I'm still I'm hungry now after this conversation. Really so great to learn a little bit about Chef Charbel's backstory, what he's been able to accomplish. He's also relatively young, and how he's really brought to life this particular restaurant. It ties in his whole Lebanese background, which I really.
He won Top Chef Middle East when he was 23 years old, and he's the head chef here. It's a remarkable story, actually.
It really is interesting, and it just brings to life the whole culinary scene in West Hollywood and just
Yes.
what people are doing in different chefs and how all the different places you can explore here. So really great.
Let's dive in. So it's exciting to be sitting here at Ladyhawk talking with you, Chef
Thank you.
Charbel.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. Excited to talk to you guys. And
Yeah,
amazing.
very good. Yeah. I'll let you start, Sarah. I know you have a whole list of.
do.
You're so excited.
Well, I'm particularly excited about this for a lot of things. First of all, obviously a fan of the restaurant.
Oh,
I mean, your
thank you.
food's amazing. Being half Lebanese, like we have a lot, I mean, naturally.
You understand the food, the culture.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
yeah.
For sure. So, but would love to kind of just set the stage a little bit and hear a little bit more about your story.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we'll start at the beginning. Like what inspired you to become a chef and then how did that sort of lead your journey to get to California?
Yeah. So I'm Lebanese, born and raised in Lebanon.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a house where there is always good food around.
I mean, of course.
My mom used to be a private chef at a time
Okay.
for like 15 years. And I was a chubby kid
Okay.
who loved to eat good food
Yeah.
and very bad at school too. So,
Oh my goodness.
so it's a great combo.
Great combo.
I told my mom and my dad, I think I want to be a chef. I mean, I love what you do. I mean, every time she's cooking, I'm hanging out around her. And I dropped off school and then I went to culinary school in Lebanon.
Okay.
And after that, I went to Paris for 2 years, lived and worked there.
Amazing.
And I was so interested to learn like the French cuisine and the
Yeah.
French cooking and like learn from the best chefs too.
Yes.
And after that, I got the opportunity to be here. The whole family got the green card and
Yeah.
we moved here.
Amazing.
And then the journey started.
Okay, so you're talking about you're inspired, by your family and your
Yeah,
mother.
yeah.
Was there a specific dish that you made that you loved?
Yes, actually, yes. There is a couple dishes.
Okay.
One of them is the tabbouleh, of course.
Oh,
We have it
tabbouleh
here
is
at
my
Ladyhawk.
favorite. Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Because it's a very simple dish, but very hard to make it too.
It is.
Like every time I go to a restaurant, I have a dry tabbouleh or unseasoned. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't order it anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also she used to make for Christmas braised lamb leg
Yeah.
with like red wine and apples
amazing.
and bunch of vegetable like braised slowly for like 8 hours.
Wow.
Because I used to remember we were at home and then I would wake up in the morning smelling the smell. It's the best dish to smell it first. I
Yeah.
swear to God. Once you braise it with wine, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, damn, she's making we call it gigot d'agneau.
Yeah.
And
Love
then, those are the two dishes for
The
sure.
two dishes
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. My goodness.
How did you end up? So you said you went to culinary school
Yes.
in Lebanon. Then you went to Paris
Yes.
because
Mm-hmm.
at that point you were dreaming of being a chef.
Yeah.
You wanted to learn the French way.
Yes.
What was that thought
So
process?
for me, when I was 15 and I started cooking, I knew one thing. I'm like, if I want to be the best, I have to work around the best.
Of course.
So what I did first thing is try to find who's the best around me in Lebanon, and I did that with a very, very famous chef in Lebanon. I worked there for 3 years, and then After that, I went to Paris and I went to a Michelin star, and I'm like, I wanna
Where'd you work in Paris?
It's a castle called Chateau de Ferrières.
Okay.
The restaurant called Le Baron.
Okay.
So I did the opening with them, and it was great.
I'm sure that must have been crazy.
And then when I came here, I did the same thing. So
Yeah.
I'm like, Michelin star in LA. I'm like, I want to.
Which Michelin star did you work with
I
here?
went to Melis. In
Okay,
Santa
Melis.
Monica.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And then that was my philosophy.
Yeah.
You want to be the best.
You work
Find
with-
who's the best around
best,
you.
yeah.
Like if you can't reach somebody too far, whoever around you, you know.
Yeah.
And then that's how it started, you know.
That's
So where did Top Chef fit
yes,
into
I
all
was
of
just
that?
gonna ask that.
So
Yeah.
was that you had already come to
Yeah,
America?
I was here. I was sous chef at the Line Hotel in
Downtown?
K-Town. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And then I always wanted to be on TV. Always wanted to be famous chef, right?
Ah.
Of
So
course.
sometimes they say it's better to be ready for opportunity and not have one than have an opportunity and not be ready. So I was just getting better at cooking. Like I want to be the best chef. That's it. Because once the opportunity come in, I have to shine. And then I get an email I always used to post on my Instagram every dish I make or every dish I learned. My Instagram was like a gallery of dishes.
Of dishes. Great.
Nothing about me, just about the food or me cooking.
Yeah.
And apparently some chef from Lebanon saw my page.
Yeah.
And he said he know the producer and Top Chef Mina,
Yeah.
and then he said, check out this guy, he seems good. He live abroad, it's a good story, bring him back to Middle East,
Yeah.
etc. They reached out to me, we did the casting, and then I get accepted. I'm like, damn, okay, let's go.
You're like, okay, I guess. Wait, where did they film it then?
So we did the casting in Beirut, but the season 5 was in Riyadh. In Saudi.
Okay, in Riyadh. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That must have been fascinating.
Yes, very. And then I wasn't used to the camera at all.
Yeah.
I remember first episode, the camera came to my head, and I swear to God, my legs were shaking. I couldn't feel my body. Like you will forget anything you know about cooking.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's like a fighter who's doing great in sparring and training the whole training camp.
Yeah.
And once he get to the light and see the crowd, he might forget the way he fight.
Fights,
Or you know,
yeah.
it happened.
It does happen.
And then I just went all in, and then 3 months later, I won Top Chef.
I
And,
mean,
So it was
just
it was a
casually.
3 month
3 months competition.
It
three
is
month
a-
competition. And you were living there. Did you have any family back there at that time?
No, we were filming in Saudi, so we just
So-
they kept us in the hotel room, and then
Yeah,
every
and
day
you
we
can't
go.
like talk to anybody, right?
No,
Like,
there is
so,
no
yeah.
phone, nothing.
Yeah,
and
so I actually have a couple friends that have been on it here, and it's
Yeah.
like you're holed up in a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you just have to focus on cooking.
Yeah.
And hopefully no drama between castmates.
yeah, no, I'm always cool with that.
Yeah.
So.
So you got used to the cameras.
Yeah, and-
Eventually, it was like, okay, I'm going to be on camera, and I've got this.
After like a couple episodes, you will forget about it.
Yeah, of
right.
course.
And then after I won, I moved back here, and the pandemic. Well, we were in the pandemic,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
which is
everything
challenging.
shut down. So I started doing private chef, and I always said to myself, like, I have exposure in the Middle East. Like every time I go to any country in the Middle East, like people recognize me from the
Yeah.
airport, etc. But
Yeah, from the
I
show.
have nothing here, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to live here. This is my new home.
Yeah.
I need an opportunity here. And because I saw how much hype and stuff you can get from competition like that, and you can utilize it if you're smart.
You really can.
Yeah.
And then, luckily, Top Chef World All Star reached out to me, Bravo, on Bravo TV, and then I'm like, of course.
Yes.
I didn't end up winning it, but
It's
it
always
gave me
great.
great exposure.
Yeah.
And then this time, the second time, I was, because the first Top Chef, I get so taken by the Instagram followers
Yeah,
or
yeah, of
like
course.
all this stuff that fade after a couple months, right? And
Right.
I didn't create any product or I didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So after I finished shooting Top Chef All Star, I'm like, we have 6 months until they release it.
Yes.
I gotta do something about it. First thing I did, work on a cookbook, and then just work on myself. You know, it's good to work hard on your job, right?
Of course.
You have to invest on yourself.
Yeah.
And then
And at this point, you were still doing private chef work, right?
yes.
Okay.
And then I get approached by Kim from Lapierre, and that's how it started.
Wow.
That's last year.
So, all right. So I'm fascinated about this because obviously, I mean, you've got quite a background when it comes to cuisine.
Yeah.
You know, arguably classically trained. I mean,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
you know. So, I mean, you're certainly familiar with French cuisine, but all different styles. You get this opportunity here.
Yeah.
Knowing former concierge,
Yeah.
knowing the landscape, food landscape in West Hollywood,
Yeah.
what made you choose to do something so authentic to you?
Yeah.
Because there aren't necessarily that many Middle Eastern inspired restaurants in West Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, in LA in general. I
Yeah,
mean, there
for
is,
sure.
but
It's a handful.
it's not as big as Italian or Japanese.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But I think 10 years from now, it's going to be so popular because right now it's a very hot cuisine.
It is.
Everybody want it. Everybody
course.
want to invest in it too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But so they, weirdly, the way it worked, when I got approached by Captain Lapierre, they've been working on a Middle Eastern restaurant for 6 months, but
Oh,
they
okay.
haven't found a chef. And then when we talked, they asked me to send me their menu,
Yeah.
my menu, what I have idea as a restaurant. So I did the menu, I sent it. 5 minutes later, they sent me their menu. It almost was identical.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, damn, it can't get any better than this.
No, of course.
Because like you have to have everybody on board.
You have
as,
to be
as
aligned.
ownership, as
Yeah.
investors or whatever, as company, they
Yeah.
have to see your vision too. Like chef is an artist, right? But the whole team has to be on board in one way of going for it, right?
Yeah.
And then we did it. They gave me 2 months to open. I'm like, damn guys, okay, let's do it. So we did it, and it's been a great success.
And that was a year ago.
Yes.
Yes. So
What was opening?
October 27 was the opening. I
Oh,
think.
wow.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
really.
wow.
Yeah, we're very like next week.
Yes, next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you so
Because,
much.
You know, so getting to a year even for a lot of restaurants
Yeah,
is really
yeah.
tough, right?
No, it's been
And-
great.
Yeah.
Of course, challenging too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very tough market.
Yeah.
But when you have like a cuisine that have a great story behind it, was like especially like authentic chef. You know, like you
Yeah.
want to make Italian. The best scenario is to get Italian chef, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then the whole team been great, like the company itself. So it's great. Can't
Were
complain.
you familiar? Well, you work downtown, you said.
Yeah.
So in other places.
Yeah.
So were you familiar with West Hollywood as kind of a place before
Not-
you got
not,
here?
Not much, but every time I pass by it, I'm like, it's something about that city. It's drew me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted my first restaurant. I used to stay in LA, and it would be great if it happened here.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, it's be careful what you wish for or ask for because it happened. I swear.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everything I imagine, I see it happening. Like I'm a big believer in God, and I pray, and it's in front of me.
Yeah.
So I can. It's like amazing.
That's awesome.
God's great.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
West Hollywood, really, when you look at the whole culinary landscape of the entire like Los Angeles area, I mean, this is where the restaurants are.
100%.
Like everybody
Yeah.
wants to come to
Yeah.
dinner, here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's so great. I mean, you've got. The space is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And so I don't know, just like what's your kind of like creative process when you're coming up with like new dishes?
There is a fine line between being creative and changing the identity of the cuisine.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I've seen so many chefs try to twist the cuisine where you can't recognize the cuisine anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I follow a very simple philosophy. 60 to 70% of the menu is very authentic, traditional.
Oh, that's
Maybe with a small twist.
Yeah.
Maybe the topping or the herbs, whatever.
Yes.
Right? And the 30% where this is where I use this seasonal ingredients and try to be creative and make something for LA market.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where my creative side go to and try
Yeah.
to twist stuff. But you still have very authentic cuisine in general.
No, completely. So where did the name Ladyhawk come from?
So it's we wanted to come out with a very catchy name, It's
Yeah?
West Hollywood, LA.
Yeah.
And also something related to my story, my mom. And then, so the lady came out, and then Ladyhawk, and then we're like, It's weird, but let's do it.
But yeah. Oh, I love it.
You know, it's like it's great.
Yeah.
People love it. Everybody
No,
rave about it.
it stands out. It's definitely a standout
Yeah.
name. Is there a favorite dish that you have on the menu right now?
Of course.
Okay, yes, the tabbouleh. I'm kidding.
Actually, no.
Oh,
But it's
no.
one of them.
Okay.
It's the za'atar manoushi.
Oh, stop. I was
Yes.
just looking at it on the menu
Yeah.
because I grew up eating a
Yeah.
lot of that. Sorry, we're having a whole moment right here. I'm having a moment.
I love it. I can see your passion too.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's like I grew up
Yeah.
eating it.
You landed, obviously, the Lapeer Hotel
Yeah.
is probably one of the most gorgeous hotels
100%.
in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's just beautifully designed. In fact, Gula Johnsdottir, who is the designer,
Aye.
has been on our podcast
Oh,
before.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
love Gula. She's great.
Yeah,
Gula's
Gula
great.
is
Yeah.
amazing, and you know it just it's such a stylish place,
Yeah.
and it's in the design district, which is also a very stylish just
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
for very walkable.
Yeah.
People love to come here just because it's got so many galleries
Yeah.
and so many interesting restaurants. So, what has surprised you about being here?
Yeah.
Has you got here and you know you step into a beautiful space, but
Yeah.
you had to make it your own. So.
Of course. I mean, our guests. I mean, I love seeing everybody here. Like, I want every like, because West Hollywood, it's a mix of it.
Yeah.
A lot of cultures and different nationality, and you see them here. And then luckily we have an open kitchen, so I can see the people reaction while I'm cooking. And then
Yeah.
every time I see like somebody having a bite and like smiling and being happy about it, or maybe it's his first time trying this cuisine in general. And people here are very open and willing to try something new, which is it's very critical, because you go to different
Yeah.
cities, people want the same thing, and then if you come up with a new thing, they don't accept it. Over
Yeah.
here, if like they hear a new cuisine just opened, they're like, oh, let's go try it. Why not? I mean, I don't know what's baba ganoush, but I want to try
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that every night, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here, really.
What about the biggest challenge? Like,
Oh, yeah.
over there, you've been here a year now. Like,
Yeah.
what have you had to overcome? Like,
I mean,
here as it,
it's like any other restaurant, and I'm sure everybody have to deal with it. Is first consistency, right? You're only as good as your last dish, and then that's as a chef. As a restaurant, you're only as good as your last servers. So we can have the best service tonight, and everything is amazing. Doesn't mean tomorrow we're gonna have the best service too, right? And then have the right team too. Like, hiring's been challenging a bit.
yes, right,
Yeah.
I think the whole city is like that.
yes,
Sure.
And then, but other than that, I mean, I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'm lucky to have a great team behind me to do that too. Because, I mean, I always joke around with my partners and everybody I work with. I would do what I do for free, but luckily I get paid well enough for it. So.
Well, that's the key, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be passionate, because like
course.
sometimes you don't. I don't count hours. You know.
Yeah.
It's just like I can't stay home. By the way, it's just like I have to be cooking. Even if I'm home, I'm cooking for my girl. Like I have to. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's great.
No, of course. So, have you noticed anything as far as like are there any sort of trends happening in like the local food scene here that you're seeing, whether you're tapping into it or thinking about how to incorporate it moving forward?
I mean, no. One thing for sure. After we opened Ladyhawk, I've seen this cuisine is becoming more and more popular with other good Middle Eastern restaurant opening too.
Yeah.
I don't want to name or miss anybody, but it's great to see other chefs either from Israel or from
Yeah.
Lebanon or whatever.
There's some great ones.
They're great ones, really. And then I love to go out and eat a new restaurant.
Yeah.
And then, because for me it's like I'm looking to learn something.
Yeah.
And every time I go to a new restaurant, I almost order all the menu. You know, I'm like, I want to try everything. Like, I don't care. You know, like I have to leave with an idea.
Yeah,
Because sometimes you learn an idea. Sometimes you steal an idea. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. That's part of the business too.
course.
So this is the first restaurant you've really
That was
had with
and-
your name on it. And
Yes.
everything,
So
right?
while I was doing private chef, I was consulting different brands. One of them in New York called Naya. It's like more like they have like 30 location, and then
Yeah.
another one, Eat Well in Europe.
Okay.
They have like 25 location. So I was doing some project here and there, but that was my first restaurant in LA. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
But-
great.
Yeah, but you knew how to run a
No.
a spot. And did you bring over team too? Did
Here?
Yeah. Did you have a say
Yes,
in the team that you brought?
I brought like whoever I could, I
Yes.
can bring, and then
Yes.
slowly you start building your team too.
Yeah.
And I'm an easygoing chef. Like I can work with anybody as long as we have the same vision. So Kimpton, they provide great support, and I think without both of us, it couldn't have worked. So
Yeah.
it's great.
How often are you trying something new with the menu? You're like, if I could every night.
Yeah,
I'm
honestly,
sure.
if I can every night, but sometimes you have to like
No, of course.
just chill a bit.
Yeah, of course.
Right now I have a couple restaurants, so
Yeah.
if I'm not doing something here, I'm doing something in the other restaurant. So it's always going, and
Yeah.
I'm always trying to plan ahead. Like when I first did the summer menu here, I
Yeah.
was already preparing for the fall. Because you can't try to do it last minute.
No.
It's not gonna be right.
Yeah.
And in the middle of summer, I was working on fall dishes.
Yeah.
And that's important thing to do.
I'd like to think that for a chef, being where we are in Southern California and West Hollywood, we have access to so much more produce than I think
oh my
other
God.
places.
We're
And-
spoiled.
But right?
No, we
So-
are spoiled.
Yeah.
100%.
Well,
Like
for sure. So it must be like a delight to be
When-
here because of, farm to,
Yeah.
it's literally you're getting stuff fresh from farms.
100%. I go to farmers market every Sunday in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's like a candy store for me. It's like I'm
Yeah.
a kid in a candy store. And it's good for my soul too. It's not only for,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like we all need to go back to the basics sometimes. We live in a city, and then every time I go to the farmers, like you talk to farmers or you touch produce and you taste something, that's the basic we all need.
Yeah.
Really. Like it's not, you don't have to be a chef. And it's great product, amazing product, especially in summer. Like, oh my God, this is my favorite
Yeah,
season.
yeah. No, of
hands,
course.
hands down.
There's so many different things. Are there any like particular flavors or foods that are particularly passionate about right now? Or, I'm sure it's seasonal, but
Yeah, I'm always trying to showcase what's in season right now.
yeah.
And the philosophy is very simple. Try to pick the best ingredients and don't fuck it up. It's just
Yeah.
like, you don't
Let
have
the
to do
ingredients
much
shine.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then when you have a good product, like in summer we have the best tomato here. You cut the tomato, all you need is salt and olive oil, and it's a great
Yeah.
dish. You just add some stuff. You
Yeah.
don't need much. And
This is true.
that's why chefs here are spoiled. So
Yeah, it
I
definitely.
agree.
Can I switch from food back to you
Yeah,
for a
please,
second?
Yes.
Please.
And I wouldn't want someone to ask me this question because I'm old, but you're young and
Yeah.
you're so passionate.
Thank
You've got
you.
a real soul
Thank you,
about
thank you.
that cares about these things. Is it true that you were the youngest winner of that show, or you were?
Yes, I was the youngest to ever win Top Chef MENA. It's not about how many years you cook. You can cook 15 years, but you're cooking in a place where you're not learning anything. You're just making French fries, let's say. You
Right.
can count that in experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can go 2 years with great chef, and if you're dry sponge and you like taking and taking and taking, it's amazing. Like first 10 years from any chef career should be like just learning, right? Don't look for money.
Yeah, understand it. Yeah.
You're a dry sponge. Go and learn. Try to learn, and that's gonna become like your identity. And then
Yeah.
it's like, and now having the social media and everything we have, it's easier to make it. To be honest, because like before, I used to hear it like people had cooks had to work for 20 years in a restaurant to learn one recipe.
Yeah.
Chef will like turn his back and make a recipe, right? Now everything is available.
Yeah.
Everything. You can buy any cookbook for like 30, 40 bucks. That's all his life experience put in a book.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
It's
you know
true.
what I mean? It's about, do you want it bad enough?
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, also, do you bring yourself and your passion to it, which
100%.
clearly you do, and you got that from your mom. Sounds
Yeah.
like partly,
and I used to shy away from this cuisine, what I do right now, my cuisine, because I'm used to it, right? I grew
Yeah.
up eating every day tabbouleh, hummus, whatever. And then I wanted to learn French, Italian cuisine, right? I wanted to learn what's popular.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I went to Paris. And then Top Chef was one of the reasons it brought me back to my identity, because every challenge they ask the chefs, make sure you have a story behind your dish. And then this is where I'm like, okay, let me think what something can relate to my soul, my story. It go back to my mom food. And this is where I'm like, okay, how can I showcase this cuisine with a nice twist or elevate it? And then first couple of time I did it, they're like, oh my God, it's amazing. I'm like, people love that cuisine. I don't know why I'm running away from it.
Yeah.
And this is why my first restaurant, I wanted to be that. And now I have couple restaurants in the pipeline, and then you have to do it, you know?
Yeah, of course. So, okay, chef after hours or before hours, I guess, depending on if you're not here, which I'm sure you're here most of the time. Are there any little, local places in and around West Hollywood that you like to find yourself at? Whether it's a local coffee shop, place, walking around, park, whatever it is, like in West Hollywood.
I mean, the whole city here is amazing.
I know there's a lot that's. I mean, you can really what I specifically what I love about the Lapeer and certainly this restaurant, the location is that you're right here on Melrose, and you've got so many great things like coffee shops, other restaurants. You can probably just pop into like 6 different places within 2 blocks and get inspired.
And I've been to this new coffee shop on Melrose called Zinc.
Oh yeah,
they have a great. I didn't know. First time I went, I sat on the street side. And I'm like, okay, and then I found out they have like a
patio and back.
And I'm like, I went there.
Completely.
It's stunning.
It is.
Yeah.
It is stunning. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's a great city.
Yeah.
Like really, you have everything. Like,
You really
if,
do.
If you live here or you work here, you don't need to do anything, and you don't need to go anywhere. You know, this is the spot.
Yeah.
How would you describe West Hollywood to somebody that hasn't been here before?
I mean, what I like about it is because I've traveled a lot, right?
Yeah.
And for me, one of the most important thing for any human being is to be open.
Yeah.
Just open to learn something new, open to accept something new. What I like about this area is they're open. You know, you can feel the energy. Like they accept anybody, everybody, and at all time.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt comfortable to do Ladyhawk here, because when you study the market, you're like, if you want to do it, that's the place to do it, to be honest. So to introduce new cuisine, new culture to a new market, it can't get any better.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, one of the owners of the H Wood Group said, has told me that, any great thing that gets exported to the rest of the world starts in West Hollywood, and he wants to, he wants to test his concepts here, because if they're successful here, because people are more willing to try things
100%.
and to, get into things. So I think you're exactly
Free spirit.
right. Yeah.
It's very free-spirited.
Yeah, I love it.
So then you said you have some other restaurants that you're in the pipeline and kind of working on. What is next for you?
I just opened 2 months ago Laya in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
And
What's it called?
Laya.
Laya?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
And then I'm working on another restaurant, San Clemente. It's gonna be more like Mediterranean, Greek. There is a lot going on, but right now I'm in a position where I'm studying every move.
Well, what was the quote you said earlier? You said something like you got to be ready for the opportunity.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
gotta...
it's better to be ready for opportunity and not have one.
Yeah.
Than have an opportunity and not be ready.
Not be ready.
You know, like I spent first 10 years of me cooking, getting ready for an opportunity, and then I got the opportunity. Thank God I shined, right? And then right now I am ready, but I'm ready to pick the right opportunity.
Yes,
you know,
right.
it's
a good position to be in.
Yeah,
and
it's a good position to be in. It's you have options, but you have to be very careful too.
Yeah.
When I'm 70, when I look back, I think I'm not gonna care how much I failed. I'm gonna care if I tried. You know.
Yes.
I'd rather say, oh well, than what if.
Yeah.
You know, like
So
just
true.
no, really. I would say, oh well, didn't work out, or I live in for 5 years. What if I did it? I hate that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be
really?
a chef. You know.
Oh my gosh, I'm good. No.
That's amazing. Well, you're very inspirational.
Thank
Really,
you.
It's really cool to talk to you.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. No, I mean, I won't be like that if you guys are are not the great hosts.
Yeah. Well, we will sure. Obviously, we spend our time inviting the world to come to West Hollywood. As I told you, that's as a visitors bureau. That's really what we want people to do, to realize that we call it the heart of LA.
It is,
because West Hollywood is right in the center. It's easy to get around everywhere, but also the spirit of this place is kind of special.
I found myself every time I want to like take my girl out for a date or something, I end up in West Hollywood. I'm like, something attracts me. And honestly, working here and being here every day, in any city, sometimes you're like, I'm sick of it, right?
Yeah.
But every time I come back, I'm like,
here.
fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
There's so much. There's so much to explore.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it.
So we'll be out there encouraging more people to come to Le Pier.
Please do.
To Ladyhawk.
Please do.
Yeah.
Have you guys ate here?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Okay,
I
great.
have yet to, but I
All right.
know what I'm already ordering.
Amazing. I love it.
Love it.
It's unbelievable. So congratulations.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
guys. Really.